see you within the first 3-4 months of 2026.
What year are we in?
2025.
Oh, wow. I just flew by, huh?
I did fly by. So, I mean, whether it's Pacquiao or someone else, that's probably pretty safe to say we'll see you maybe by March or April.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I haven't even been thinking about boxing, man.
Oh, really?
I've been thinking about my own personal life mission right now. You know, I've just been growing my relationship with the Lord Jesus. I read the whole Bible.
The whole Bible. Well, Aaron, got any questions for the champ?
Well, hey, look, anybody reads the Bible in order to fly high at some point of it, you got to go see your Lord because he's the one who pulls you up. And, you know, I mean, when you seek out him out, you're looking for bigger and better things, not just in your personal life and all the great things that he's doing. He's on the right path, you know, that he said that. You know, all of it comes from him, your will, your fire, your desire as a trainer. When a guy searches him out, he plans on doing big and better things. And the answer for you to ask him that question about Manny Pacquiao, man, if that would come, that's bigger and better things for him financially in his pocket. I'm pretty sure, like he said, he would enter that pocket.
Man, money don't matter in this, man. I've already reached the point in my life where money don't matter.
Did you hear that?
Money don't bring you happiness. The only true happiness is the name Jesus Christ.
There you go. Oh, man.
When you started, obviously you came from your karate background.
Judo.
Judo, my bad. I apologize. When you came from that, if I would have told you you would have won 3 world titles before 20 fights, what would you have thought?
I would have believed him.
Oh, there you go. Your confidence has never wavered. Like I said, I know you know, I only keep you for a couple minutes.
Nobody believed in me but me. And my father. My father believed in me. He told me I should quit 1,000,000 times, but he believed in me.
What was that? Do you remember that point that, you know, maybe hit you? You know what? I'm gonna do special things in this sport. Do you remember? Did you ever have that thought in your mind?
It was written. It was written. Whether I wanted to or I didn't want to, I could not escape my destiny.
When do you think we may hear an announcement if or when you're going to be fighting again?
Whenever God wants. I don't know. If something's for me, it's going to happen no matter what, whether I try to fight it or not. And if something's not for me, whether I fight for it all I want and it don't come, it's not for me.
How important is it for you to maybe fight Tank again, or, you know, is that important for you to exercise that?
I don't truly believe he's going to come up to 47, but I mean, that would be a beautiful fight, but leave Tank down there with them at 135. How's
47 agree with you in terms of your body and everything like that?
I can actually eat. I can actually eat some food. I was starving myself so much at 35 and 40. It was unbelievable.
We'll let you go in a minute. What do you want to say to the fans out there, you know, before we let you go?
Find the Lord Jesus. It'll change your life completely.
Rolly Romero, thank you for a few minutes of your time. The WBA Welterweight Champion of the world, maybe sharing a ring with Manny Pacquiao. Hey, I'm just reading what they say online. You know it's always right when they're writing online. You know it's always true. No.
I don't believe nothing in this sport until the bell rings.
There you go. Well, if you fight the legend, I'll be there in Vegas.
Of course.
Thank you, Rolly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
I might get up here.
Okay, I want to bring in the trainer, a trainer and manager to the stars, Bob Santos, who's one of the top trainers in the game, and we'll go over his quick list of his stable of fighters. And after that, maybe we'll wrap it up. You know, we're actually on our second stream, aren't we?
Yeah, it stopped for a minute.
Oh, did not know that. So, I mean, we're pushing 2 hours and 40 minutes. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron Snowell. Thank you very much.
Is the fight in here?
No, I think the fight's over this way. We got Let's bring in Bob Santos, one of the great trainers, managers, now TV commentator. So one thing about this sport, like me, I do 19 different things. Bob is trying to do that as well. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Great to be here with you.
So yeah, before we get that, commentating the show tonight.
Yeah. Excited to do that. Kevin Brown going for the interim world title here at the WBA convention. I think it should be fantastic.
Last week you the fighter that you're very high on, kid named Isaac Lucero, fought on the big pay-per-view card just before the pay-per-view started. Yesterday you were gushing over him. Tell us why.
Well, Puro Mexico, redheaded Mexicans don't go on trees. We all know the trajectory that Canelo had. We're hoping to follow in those footsteps, but I'm not going to say he's going to do what Canelo has done, but definitely he's on the trajectory. He's an all-out offensive machine. He's much more aggressive than Canelo was, and I think he's going to be a fan favorite, not only for the Mexicans from Mexico, but everybody involved in boxing. He's just a tremendous talent, and we're expecting big things from him. 154-pounder, so he's in a division that's full of killers, but we're ready to go.
I'm just going to say this name. I'm not saying that you're going to fight him next or soon, but how many fights you feel that you can start mentioning a Fundor? Start mentioning those bigger names as titleists. I mean, how many fights away you think you are with him?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think we can mention those guys right now.
Oh, wow, okay.
You look at a guy like Bakram, who's
Murtazaliev, yes.
Yeah, he's the boogeyman in the division. What he did to Zoo. Matter of fact, here at the Creve Royale, maybe just about a year and a half ago or so. So you look at the kid that we had just fought, went the distance with him, and Lucero's the only kid to ever stop him. Now, Xander Zayas stopped him on a cut on the nose that wasn't even bleeding. The doctor asked him, can he continue? He said he's ready to go, and for whatever reason, they waived out the fight. I don't know why the cut wasn't on the eye, anything like that. He had the fight with Sule, the Olympian, who had dropped him, like I said, and went the distance with Bakram. And the only guy to really stop him the old-fashioned way is Isaac Puro Mexico Lucero.
And you've been around and you've managed and trained a lot of high-end, world-class, championship-level fighter. And I've interviewed you several times. You are as high as, you can tell in your voice, you're as high on him as you have been with anyone that you've been with, it sounds like.
Sure. I think all the ingredients is there. The recipe for stardom's there. Like I said, his style, what he brings to the table, he's a banger. He showed a tremendous chin. He got hit with a couple good shots, by a guy who had 30 knockouts. Like I said, had dropped Sule. Stood right in there with him and broke him down bit by bit, piece by piece, and stopped him the old-fashioned way. So I've been in around a lot of great champions. Robert Guerrero, obviously. I've been with Lara virtually his entire career. And I definitely regard him as a guy who's going to be a can't-miss world champion, and I think that's going to be sooner rather than later, and be looking for him on Cinco de Mayo with David Benavidez.
We just had Rolly Romero on, so the segue I got here, Romero, who just beat Ryan Garcia, is now going to be fighting a guy that you've managed and trained, but just going to be managing now. You turn the reins over to Joe Goosen and Mario Barrios.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good for his career. I think it's going to invigorate him, get a new voice in the corner, get a little bit more spice going on in there. And I'm excited about that fight for him with Ryan Garcia. He goes out there and beats him. I mean, sky's the limit for him. He could be in a unification with Devin Haney and many more big names. So we're excited for him.
Maybe Rolly.
Yeah, maybe Rolly, sort of a unification there. It's an easy fight to be made. It's in-house. Everybody there with Louis DeCubas Jr. I'm sure they can make that fight very easily, and so it'd be great.
What, just take a step back with Barrios. Reflect now, you've had a few months now. You probably watched the Pacquiao fight a couple times. But why do you think that this guy who hasn't fought in about 4 or 5 years and 45, 46 years old, whatever Manny Pacquiao is, why was that fight as competitive as it was?
Well, I mean, anytime you're fighting Manny Pacquiao, he's a legend, one of the best to ever do it. The last thing to go on a guy is punching power, so he still had a little bit of pop to him, so you have to respect that. I really feel that that Barrios could have stopped him if he stepped it up a little bit more. Maybe there's a little bit too much of a respect factor, or like I said, maybe he just needs a different voice in the corner to invigorate him. And I think that's why we made the change to Joe Goosen, because I think there's much more for him to give. I know what kind of quality fighter he is. I've been around him his whole career, you know what I mean? I've been with him in every single fight in his corner. As his head coach, we've never lost a fight together. But I just think that it was a time for change, because sometimes, you know, a fighter just needs a different voice, just needs a different commander-in-chief in there. And the other thing is, you got to have one unified voice, too, in the camp. You can't have dissension and different voices in the camp.
Was the camp not a smooth camp?
Well, you know, I think sometimes too many cooks in the kitchen is not necessarily a good thing, and that's why I think going with Joe Goose and one cook in the kitchen, I think will make a big difference for Mario Barrios moving forward.
You mentioned Arislandi Lara.
Yeah.
His fight last week, you're looking at fighting for 3 belts, and Janibek test positive, and probably very disappointing.
Yeah, it was, because, you know, big letdown for Lara, obviously, to unify the belts and prove, you know, I think that would have, I think he's a Hall of Famer anyway. Look what he's doing at this age. But that being said, for sure that would have stamped him into the Hall of Fame, you know, unifying those belts. Unfortunately, with Janibek, I mean, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. Either it's a case that he didn't know what he was taking, or somebody was giving him something, or he knew what he was taking. But either way, you're still responsible for what's going into your body. And but we'll see.
It's funny you say that, and I talk to fighters and people in the fight game, and maybe I'm just naive. I don't think some of these fighters are that stupid to do stuff like that. I think with all these supplements and not reading labels, I think, like you said, I think, and I don't know what your stance is. You think a lot of these guys who do test positive know what they're doing, or do you think they're just not educated enough?
Well, some of them obviously are guilty of sin.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have those. But one thing I know about fighters, they're some of the most trustworthy, best people you could be around, and sometimes you trust the wrong people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what usually happens is you got a guy who becomes a champion, and there's always, like I said, you get too many cooks in the kitchen, guys that have never been there, never done that, and they're going to reinvent the wheel. And they're usually the guys that are bringing in some of this stuff and you know, either – you know, changing up the game plans for the fighters, guys that have never really accomplished anything, or, like I said, guys that come in and say, well, if you take this, you're going to be utmost better, and giving them things that they really shouldn't be taking. But at the end of the day, they're responsible for what they're putting in their body. So for you young fighters out there, any fighter out there, be very careful, you know, who you allow to come into your camp and who you trust, because it can be detrimental to your career.
I know it sucks for a guy like you. You're a no-nonsense kind of guy. You know, you can't be on top of these guys 24 hours a day.
You know, for me, I try the best that I possibly can. I'm old school, like I said. You know, I came up under the tutelage of a Joe Goose, and I was around Emmanuel Stewart for a long time. I've been fortunate to be around Ronnie Shields. And for me, I'm one of the old school guys. I'm one of the last guys, I guess. You know, I'm not saying there's not a place for strength and conditioning coaches, and they have a place to a degree in this role, but I'm kind of old school where, you know, I want to see everything. So for the most part, I do as much as I possibly can to be on them 24/7. It's impossible to be totally 24/7, but that's why, you know, in Las Vegas, I built Camp Santos, which is a predominant boxing camp, not just you come to the gym.
Okay.
You come to the camp house, the sparring partners are,
So there's living quarters and everything there. Wow, okay.
Right, and the gates get closed, and you're coming to a real camp. And that's what I believe to go to the next level. If you want to become a prize fighter, can you become a world champion? Yes, it's difficult. Hats off to that. But for me, I want to send, that's why the name of my gym is Home of Prize Fighters. You go to that next level. And I think go to that next level, you got to be with these guys 24/7 as much as you possibly can to overlook everything.
How many people can you house there?
Well, you know, in the front house, we can have about 8 guys. In the back house, you know, probably 3 to 4, and that's more than enough to run a full-blown camp.
Yeah, you could probably have like 3 different camps in there, 12 guys, you know, with maybe another trainer and a couple sparring partners. You probably could have 3 different.
Well, sometimes you got to learn your lesson with assistants, like I said. You know, so for me,
maybe guys that you trust.
Yeah, my son and I have a guy, Ben Bockley, who's been around with me since he's 13 years old. So for the most part, like I said, even for fighters or coaches, you got to be careful sometimes of the people that you let into camps, because, you know, sometimes that's how dissensions happen. I always used to tell my fighters when we would go to camp, me and Robert Guerrero, I'd say we'd be getting ready to go to Big Bear, and I says, well, we got 2 problems. He says, well, what the hell do you mean, Bob? I says, well, we got me and you, and if we had a third person, now we got a third problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually the case when you go to camp.
You always have a vast and good stable of fighters. We've talked about a couple of them now. You got the heavyweight brothers, the Perot brothers. Talk about them.
Well, you know, Lanier Perot, obviously the #2 heavyweight in the world in the WBA, so he's, you know, chomping at the bit. He's positioning himself to get him a crack at a world championship. And then, obviously, Denier, the Fear Perot, we're real high on him, the youngest Cuban ever to make the Olympic team out there. So he should be getting ready to roar again January 10th, and we're really excited about them. I like to call them the Cuban Klitschkos. I get a lot of hate sometimes, you know, on the Instagram and this. They're not the Klitschkos. Hey, I didn't say they've done what the Klitschkos have done, but we liken them to the Cuban Klitschkos, and let their careers play out, and we'll see how it works out.
I know Lanier obviously is probably a little bit further ahead, but it seems like that you have as much upside potential for Denier.
You know what? Maybe more.
Maybe more.
He's got hand speed to burn, and you know, and speed kills in the heavyweight division. It was interesting. I just seen a thing online about the only guy that had beaten Usyk, and they asked him what was the #1 reason you were able to beat Usyk, you know, in the amateurs, and he said, well, speed. And that's what Denier Perot has. He had a lot of hand speeds, like a middleweight.
Who else maybe we will see you being in the corner of coming up?
Well, Luis Nunes, he just had a great fight, and he just did an eliminator, so he should be fighting for the 126-pound world championship pretty soon.
And that would be against two, possibly.
Well, you know, he's won 4 eliminators, and we don't know, and he's never got a crack at it. So sometimes you can be too good for your own good, but we'll see how that plays out. And then I got Luis Torres, Coriano Torres, 135-pounder. Tremendous talent. Elijah Garcia, that's with me. He'll be making his debut in the super middleweight division. We'll see how that plays out. So we got a lot of talent in our stable for sure.
It was funny. I was at the Canelo Crawford week. I ran into Ronald Ellis. He told me he was going to be fighting. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Was that a fight that was supposed to happen, or?
Yeah, there was talks about it, and unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
You know, that can happen sometimes. What's the old saying? You know, the bell rang and we got paid.
Yeah, because the thing is, I put it on my website. I'm like, damn, I hope Ronald didn't like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Leon Margley's coming back handing out tickets to people. he was our first
for my wife.
He was the first guest here about on Tuesday when it feels like we started. We've been at this for about 3.5 hours now. So Elijah Garcia, he's a guy who, you know, suffered a couple setbacks, speed bumps, and he get him back now 168.
Well, that's why he's with me, and let's see how it plays out.
And like I said, what are you looking forward to tonight on this card? Anything of note beside Kevin Brown?
Well, I'm real interested with Kevin Brown. Obviously, I was his head coach for a time.
Okay.
You know, so I know him real well. I still have a good relationship with him, and I want to see him do well, and I'm excited for him. And, of course, he's friends with the Perot brothers that I train, and so, you know, and he was with me for a long time out there in Las Vegas. So we'll hopefully he'll be able to take care of business tonight, but we'll see.
Will you be here on Monday to try to advocate for your fighters for the ratings and everything?
Well, you know what? Thank God we're in a pretty good position. I don't think I need to advocate anymore. I said, you know, Perot's #2, the other guy's top 10, and at the end of the day, I'll let the fights speak for themselves. These guys have won some great fights against top guys. You know, you look at Lanier Perot, when we fought Frost, the Ukrainian national, had all those fights, and he had that big win with him. And I think the wins that they've had speak for themselves. Again, Isaac Lucero going out there against Valenzuela, who went the distance with Bakram. He's the only guy to really stop him the old-fashioned way. And then before that, we fought the other kid, Valenzuela, who was 23-0 with 20 knockouts, and we stopped him in 4. So I think their performance speaks for themselves. I don't think I need to advocate. I think BoxRec can advocate for that.
There you go. So you're commentating tonight. We'll probably see you in a bunch of corners, you know, probably beginning of the year.
Sure.
I know you do a lot of your work with PBC, and I seem to, from what we're hearing, they could be very busy in the first 3-4 months of the year.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I think it's going to be a big year for boxing, and 2026 is the trajectory is looking really good.
I'm trying to pull it out of Rolly. You fight Pacquiao or not? I mean,
you know what? I think he's going to be fighting Pacquiao.
Yeah,
I have a couple connections with PBC and Louis DeCubas Jr. I think that's where it's looking to go.
I told Rolly, I will never question your defense because you're deflecting these questions beautifully. So, well, thank you so much, Bob. We'll hear you on the call tonight on Box Lab YouTube, right? And and obviously you bring a lot of knowledge, experience, and you'll tell it how it is tonight.
You got it at Bob Santos Boxing. We look forward to all you fans.
And anyone out in Vegas who wants to come, can they come see the gym?
Sure.
And tell us where it's at.
It's a private gym, obviously. It's right there in the middle of Las Vegas. But sure, the fans can come out and once in a while get a glimpse of some of these guys. I'm never adverse to the fans. I love the fans and the people of boxing. But as far as other fighters, either you got to be a top amateur or a top guy to be in my gym. If not, guys that want to just train for the month or the day. Now, we're not doing that.
Never a boring interview. Bob Santos, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. Bob Santos, one of the great trainers, managers, just all-around boxing guys. Son, how old's your son, by the way? He's 24. He's already a cut man, a world titleist, and it's a great job. Thanks, Bob. We'll bring in Peter Czymbor for a few minutes to wrap things up. We'll make you the last one tonight. How's that? So it's funny. We talked about boxing. We had Rolly on as a world champion. We were talking about Mike
Am I
Tyson.
the main event? Is that what you're saying?
I get either that or the walkout bout.
All right,
okay.
yeah, there you go.
We were talking about with Joe DeGuardi was here. We were talking about his series in terms of club shows, and one of the top club shows, especially on the East Coast, it's pretty consistent. It's Boston Boxing. Peter Czymbor, who is the promoter of Boston Boxing. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Love coming to conventions like this. I find these to be just great gatherings of boxing minds, and like you and I are friends, but we don't talk all the time. We might not talk for a long time.
Months, yeah.
I see you at a restaurant last night. Hey, Mark, is this seat open? You say, sure. Next thing you know, 6 other people are joining us. It's 5 hours later, and that's what these events are.
Eric Botcher, Leon shows up. In fact, Ed Mulholland. That's right. I think I booked all my guests last night. Was at the sports bar here.
If we weren't out so late, I might have been here earlier.
I'm still tired. Still tired from this. So talk about Boston Boxing. You guys have been around a few years, and if you see the shows, if you go to BoxRec, I mean, not to what you guys did before, but the quality of shows, you're matching some undefeated guys now against each other, and you're really putting on some good shows up there.
Well, thank you. Boston Boxing Promotions will be entering its 13th year of existence in 2026.
Have you been the promoter the whole time?
Yeah, it's been my company since May of 2013. I was 25 years old. Decided
I never knew that. I just thought you got into the promotional business last couple of years. I didn't know that.
No, it was 2013. I was 25 years old. I decided to promote my first boxing show, and I remember taking a backpack full of cash to my mom's house and saying, Mom, I have to stuff envelopes for the purses, and her opening my backpack and going, what the hell are you doing with your life?
She probably thought you were a moving product or something.
No, I was preparing for a night of boxing the following evening at the Dorchester Armory, but we're back Friday, February 13th, Friday the 13th, in Fall River, Massachusetts, home of Lizzie Borden. Lots of very menacing things converging right now.
Wow.
And we're going to have a great night of boxing, and we're here at the WBA convention in Orlando. And what I think is appropriate to mention is that Jackson Blanco, who is rated number 11 in the world at junior middleweight by the WBA, who fought on our last show on Thanksgiving Eve, will be back in the ring on February 13th in Fall River.
Is he under the Boston Boxing promotional banner? We
have a great relationship with him and his folks, so you can say that to an extent.
I got you. You mentioned Dorchester. Is that the home of one of my favorite groups, the New Kids on the Block?
Absolutely, yeah. So
I am the biggest Donnie Wahlberg. I can't believe I'm going to admit this. I'm the biggest Donnie Wahlberg fan you'll ever meet.
So my mom grew up in Dorchester, and her and all her sisters have stories of knowing various Wahlbergs. If you grew up in Dorchester, you just know the Wahlbergs.
I mean, dude, I'm going to show a picture of the camera. I have to find this picture in a minute.
I'm a New Kids fan as well. And I want to let you know, and it's like I'm a New Kids fan for 2 reasons. One, for sentiment and nostalgia, and you want to support the local guys.
Yeah.
And I think I can say this now because, we can all speak objectively about New Kids on the Block. I listened to a New Kids on the Block song about a year ago for the first time in forever.
Step by Step is an unbelievable song, but yeah.
I listened to Hangin' Tough.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, this is a god-awful song. If this came out now, no one would like it. It was time and place imaging. I just couldn't even believe that people pay to go see this. But like when they came back, that song "Summertime,"
Yep.
it's a banger.
I mean, it's New Kids on the Block. I mean, I just thought I'm going to find you this. Here I found it. So I don't know which camera, John. I'm going to show a picture.
So I had a
Me and the wife, we're at a New Kids on the Block. We're a New Kids on the Block concert. Donnie Wahlberg comes to my section. They'd have 3 security guards keep me off them.
so
Right, my section here.
So when I was a kid, I had my wrestling action figures. You had your WWF and your WCW action figures, but I also had, I wouldn't call these action figures, but they had New Kids on the Block dolls that came out.
Wow.
They were kind of like the same size as the tall G.I. Joe, so they could fight in the wrestling league that you created as well. And I had a Joey McIntyre doll.
Yeah.
And he was wearing the Letterman jacket, I want to say for like Central Catholic or Catholic Memorial or something. And my uncle went to that school and had the same Letterman jacket.
Wow. So what else we got for February 13th? We mentioned Blanco be on the card. What other good young talent can we expect to see?
February 13th, Fall River, Massachusetts. Jackson Blanco will be on the card in a myriad of just up-and-coming New England talent. You can follow us on social media at Boston Boxing Promotions on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on YouTube. We've got over a few thousand subscribers on YouTube, so a lot of folks check out the YouTube. But
I know when we were talking last night, you said you're here obviously to try to advocate for Blanco, but you mentioned about 2 or 3 other fighters that you're going to try to maneuver through the rankings this week.
Yeah, so Jackson Blanco is currently rated by the WBA. He's the main reason why we're here at this particular convention. But we also have Andre Nowitzki, who is 15-0, 11 knockouts, undefeated heavyweight out of the Ukraine, who's most notably went to Saudi Arabia twice and won on Riyadh season shows that were broadcast internationally. Last December had a very big win over Edgar Ramirez on the Usyk Fury 2 undercard. And also...
was this a fight that he was put on the A or B side?
Well, I mean, I assume we were the A side, but when you're on a Riyadh season show, everyone's fighting fairly 50-50 if you know his excellency's style of matchmaking. So we're there because he's an undefeated Ukrainian. They're looking for the next Usyk.
Gotcha.
We understand that. But with that being said, every challenge that has been put before him, he has passed. So Andre Nowitzki is a fighter that I want a lot of folks to keep their eyes on. Then also, Haverhill, Massachusetts, Nikki Tejada, 13-0-1 with 9 knockouts. Just had a great win on Thanksgiving Eve and capped off a really terrific 2025 calendar year as a professional boxer. He might be ready for some step-ups in 2026, and we're here advocating for that this weekend as well.
Gotcha. Maybe try to get some regional belts on these guys?
So, I mean, you know, in the case of Nowitzki and Tejada, they have another sanctioning organization's regional belts around the waist right now. But we want to collect some belts, and we want to fight for world belts, and that's the name of the game.
There you have it, Peter. What do you want to say out there, the fans, in closing? Again, February 13th.
Friday the 13th, Fall River, Massachusetts. Be there. It's going to be a great evening of professional boxing. And also check us out on social media. And you can usually find live streams to our show at combatsportsnow.com and, of course, our official YouTube channel.
And what I'm going to do when we're done with this, I'm going to try to tag Donnie Wahlberg. Maybe we'll get him back for the show. Maybe.
I'd love to meet Donnie. Don't tell him my critique of Hangin' Tough. Give him my love of the song Summertime.
There you go. Now, well, it's Step by Step and Cover Girl, my song. So.
What's like another big one they had back in the day?
Oh, you got the right stuff.
I was a big Right Stuff kid.
I'll Be Loving You Forever.
I had a Fisher-Price like microphone, and I'd press the thing and I'd sing it. Whoa, yeah.
And I'll Be Loving You Forever.
Oh.
So, I mean, yeah, Joey McIntyre's good. I mean, I love Donnie Wahlberg. Jordan Knight's the man. I mean, I've seen these. I've seen them. Me and my wife have seen them like 6 times. And I'm a 52-year-old man. I can admit it.
Rank your favorite boy bands right now, top 5.
Right. Well, boy bands, probably New Kids on the Block.
Okay, fair.
Another Boston group who you got to love New Edition.
Love New Edition.
Yeah, you have to. They all came out Boston. I really don't like the. Couldn't.
There's
care
another
less.
very underrated Boston-based boy band.
Who's that?
LFO from New Bedford.
Yeah. I really don't like the other ones. I couldn't care less about what was Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, but LFO, New Edition, and New Kids are better than NSYNC and Backstreet.
Well, New Edition and New Kids, they were like they were the starters. They started.
Oh,
it all,
yeah.
you
No
know?
question about it.
Hey, again, we're told that this interview is half about New Kids on the Block.
Candy Girl,
Yeah, loved it.
you
Well,
are my world.
I like Candy Girl. My Secret is a great song, and Popcorn Love is their best song.
Mr. Telephone Man.
We've been doing this show for 3 hours and 5 minutes.
And I'm helping it devolve.
And
February 13th, fall over, folks. Live boxing, BostonBoxingPromotions.com. How's that?
There you go. That's how we'll end this thing. I want to thank my director, producer, Mr. John Musionis, who's been unbelievable, keeping me on the air. I want to thank Peter Czymbor. We've had Bob Santos. We had Rolly Romero. We had who else? We have Eric Botcher, Leon Margulies, Joe DeGuardia, Pinklin Thomas. Hold on. We are not done yet. The trailblazing Christy Martin will be here any moment to join us. How long we got? So stay on for Christy Martin. She'll be here in a minute or two. We were just